everyone, and welcome back to Invisible Not Broken. Sorry we had to take an unexpected hiatus. I'm sure all of you understand chronic illness, and yeah, so lots of dislocations, had to take a week off, so thank you for sticking with us. And today I have one of my favorite guests back, who I keep luring back on the podcast and hope she will be more of a permanent part. It's Eva from Wellacopia, and she just did a major change with her business, and I wanted to bring her back because that's pretty exciting, and it's also super energy intensive. And I kind of wanted to hear a little bit more from her, how she did things differently this time around and why she decided to make this change and what it means for all of you who should be going over to wellacopia.com and sign up immediately. It's a really great service, and the more of us who sign up, the more service it will provide. So I will let Eva explain what Wellacopia is and what's different now. Hey, Eva! Oh, so much. I mean, you have like an open like mic here anytime you want to come on. Oh, please do. And share what you have in case someone did not actually hear your episode. What is it you have? Ha! That's a good story. You know, this month has been our ballet episodes between you and Rebecca and me. It's like, wow, we are not the faces for Yay Ballet. uh, it is a slightly abusive relationship. Like ballet could definitely be considered an obsession and abusive relationship. Date. Oh God, yeah, I'll swallow that all. So I have a question about that. And if it isn't what you want to talk about, I promise I'll go back and erase it. But with these preferences, do you have something in there that the doctors are uh, friendly towards people who have different lifestyles, or people who are gay, or people who are transgender? Do you have like a space there for practitioners so that someone can go to someone and be like, going through transgender, is there, or please forgive me everyone if I'm getting the words and terms wrong. I just dislocated a femur today, and I can't even find the right words for like things in my car today. So please give me a break on not getting the right terms. But I do want to know, like, do you have something like that for people so that they know who to go to for those things, and know that they won't have someone who's judgmental or not a specialist in that? Or accepting, or zero judgment. Like, yeah, well, we'll see how this goes. You gotta love when I start your interview with, okay, we're gonna have to do this fast because I will end up out of shock really soon. We'll see how it goes. We might end up doing a part two, but let's just keep going while we can. It is now, god damn it. Oh. Mm. Yeah, I love that because I really think like to be able to find someone who is um, friendly towards everyone is, or even specializing in things like working with someone who is gay or transgender. Those are such important things when you're trying to get healthcare, that you don't have to feel judged and that you feel open to discuss all parts of your life and identity. It's a really important thing to feel comfortable and safe with your physician. So it's wonderful that you have that mindset with this new creation of Wellacopia. So what's new? What's different with it? I know you launched earlier this year, and then you did this beautiful rebrand, and your website is gorgeous. I'm such a UI geek. Like, this stuff fascinates me. It's beautiful. So what was your idea? Why did you change, or why did you go through a rebrand? Wow. Oh, I want to back up for just 1 second. So you said that you can talk to them. Does that mean that you can actually have a small discussion without having to go to their office, pay a fee of like your like every time you want to test out a therapist or you want to test out someone, and you just have like three simple questions before you could even see someone, like are you this kind of do you have you worked with this kind of person, like so you would be able to do that without paying out a $200 fee or having to hook your insurance in? Whoa! See, that's magic for me. Just the idea that you could do that. Like, it's super painful for me to get in a car and I have to get someone to drive me to an appointment. Like, it's 3 hours for me to go to almost any doctor right now, and it's awful. That would be amazing to be. That's worth the price of admission right there. That would save people so much money and time and pain, especially those of us who are on disability or don't have cars and have to use public transportation. I mean, that would be that's a huge life changing thing. Well, I have a disorder where if they hear what I have, they will almost automatically go, "Nope, not seeing you. Absolutely not." And it saves so much time if I could at least just like get that through first. So it's like, okay, now I know to move on to a different doctor and find someone who will actually see Ehlers-Danlos. Like, wow. I can tell you right now, the rheumatologists don't treat Ehlers-Danlos. Uh-huh. I'll try to help, but I make no promises. So it really does bring it back to your idea of this is like, Match.com. Like these are individual people also. And I think we forget that when we are the sick people, we are the ones who are visiting doctors, is that they are individuals as well. And we just see like a white coat and a stethoscope and go, doctor. And there's like nothing else there. Like, okay, it's good to remember that there's two sides of this. So you're looking for who to come on and sign up for Wellacopia. Okay. But you have oh, brain just stopped there. So for for doctors, physical therapists, we have some wonderful health professionals who do listen to the show. What do you want them to do? Do you want them to go on to wellacopia.com and sign up as a physician or as a physical therapist, or would they need to email you directly? Okay. I like the quality control part. So if someone goes to a specialist that had gotten through the thing but didn't, they aren't the best, and someone can like write you back and go, okay, so I know this is on your website, but this was my experience with this doctor. Is there something for that? Complaints are the best thing ever. I mean, like, we just got like 2 reviews on our Apple podcast that were super good, like constructive criticism, and like this is really helpful. Thank you. Like, it's when people actually tell you what you're doing wrong. It's like, oh, okay, well that's helpful. I might. One of them, if you've listened to, I can't fix. I'm sorry. I cackle when I get in pain and nervous. So sorry. My fault. But other ones, I was like, well, that's interesting. Yeah, we could absolutely throw that in. So yeah, like constructive criticism, good. We're going back to abusive relationship. I mean, like the way they critiqued us was with the baton. Whack. It's a different kind of constructive criticism. Yeah, that sigh and seriously, ballet is like abusive relationship. I mean, you came into ballet like 10 years after I did. When I was going through it, it was still the Balanchine baby body type. It was still the Russian method. It was like no offense to Russians, but it was absolutely baton, 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 baton. My daughter's in ballet now because it doesn't matter what you want them to do or not do, and it's a much kinder, gentler world right now. I think with Missy Copeland redefining the ballet body, and this is not nearly the angry, mean person that I remember in ballet. So I'm trying to breathe through that right now. Mm. Mm. We're doing great today. This is It's that's complicated because one person literally has your life in their hands. And if they don't understand your, like with Ehlers-Danlos and with mast cell, it's very easy to kill me if you don't know exactly how to use anesthesia with someone like me, or if you don't know, even my dentist could end up causing incredible damage when I have POTS. And like, so if you don't find the right person, that's literally your life in someone else's hands. And you also bring up a great point with the Facebook groups. If you're listening to the podcast for all, we've interviewed people who are not diagnosed yet. They have something wrong and they know something's very, very wrong, but working through the system, it's very hard for them to get a diagnosis. And if you don't have those groups with the diagnosis, you don't have access to all these doctors who have like specialties, and like, you're like, wow, I'm super hypermobile, but I haven't found the Ehlers-Danlos group yet. And so you don't know what doctors to call to talk to. So I think this gives you an incredible access point to doctors who might specialize in things like, you're like, this is something horribly, horribly wrong. I don't have a name for it yet. Yeah. Can I do that physically? Can I just take off like three of my diet, like just make sure my body doesn't even have it? Like, just get rid of the Ehlers-Danlos, mast cell, and POTS. That would be great. Yeah, seriously, when you join up Wellacopia, go and join the Facebook group also. I think there's a link in the Wellacopia website to do that. It's a great place to get information and support. But there is also the upside. Like, I know what I do is I go into my Ehlers-Danlos group all the time when a doctor gives a recommendation for a surgery or for a new pain med. I always go into there, and not that I use their word as God or like down from like, there's no tablet here, but it's just, well, there's my iPad, but not in that way. Sorry. Okay, I will get back on track. Really, seriously, people, femur dislocation. I'm doing my best here. But I always go on there because my doctors don't have Ehlers-Danlos. So when they're saying, oh, go ahead and try this, they don't know anything other than what other people have told them. So I go to the source and I'm like, okay, give me a rundown, everyone. What was your reaction to this? And the advice I've gotten from that has been amazing. Not that I use them as doctors, but they have that personal experience with like, this is my experience with the fentanyl patch. This is who I was. This is what's going on. And it was actually much easier for me to make that choice after reading like 20 people who had taken the fentanyl patch and going, okay, I understand more about what that personal life experience is than my doctor going, your pain level's up. Let's do this. Like, it was literally that discussion. It was literally like, oh, you still have an 8 with your painkillers. We should just put you on something much higher. Let's do this. And I'm like, oh, well, I think I'm going to talk to some people first. And it was not that blasé of a deal to go into a fentanyl patch, but please go talk to your doctors also. But it is nice to get people's, actual life experiences as well in those groups. They also have spray. They have Epsom salt spray bottles. If you don't have time to take a bath, that's also a good one. Sorry, we got off track here, so I will put us back on track because I am really curious how this was for you to go through a relaunch with chronic illness after you had launched one time before. What did you learn from launching before to launching now while having a chronic illness? Was there something you did differently? What did you learn? Ah, ha, 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 ha. Wow. World. Yeah. Thank you, China. You have become one of our biggest listening audiences. I really appreciate it. I am so glad that we are more traveled than I am, but it's been pretty, with South Africa has been tuning in, India. Thank you, India. Australia, all over Europe, Russia. It's been amazing. I'm so grateful for everyone who listens, but that really does make that telemedicine thing even more important because I'm sure where some of you are listening, there might not be a specialist in your body problems. Like for me, I have Ehlers-Danlos, and we have very few specialists here, where in England, there are more specialists. Isn't it? Oh, wow. That was an uphill battle because I wasn't here for a very long time. Oh, I do, yeah. Yay! What was the best feedback you got from your first launch? What was like the one that just really stuck out? You're like, I am definitely going to change this for this iteration of the website. Oh, no, it's important. All right, I have one last question before I go and take painkillers and get on H-Wave to pop this back in. Um, Life hack for now. It's hilarious. It's been a long 72 hours. What are some of your life hacks for trying to start something up with a chronic illness? Is there something that you learned about your own health, about your own way of taking care of yourself from the last time to this time? Was there something you did differently for your own body to make sure you could do this? I'm seeing it's pretty intensive. I mean, like, you really have a lot you do every day. What do you do to prepare yourself for that? That and parenthood, naivete goes a long way. Marriage, too. Go to our show notes. Go to the website, invisiblenotbroken.com. Go to the podcast. I will have everything linked up. So you can just head right on over there, and I will have Suffering in Silence. Is that right? Oh, The Silence. Yeah, we'll have that all linked up. That is so adorable. I love that. I'm like, oh, what a nice sugar pill. That's cute. That's something that a lot of people don't know is like the over the counter drugs can be very, very dangerous to your kidneys and liver. Like, not, don't take, stop taking that. If your doctor says you should, go ahead, talk to your doctor, but also ask your doctor about if you're taking those over the counter more than once a day, every day, you probably should get your kidney numbers checked. Like, just a little hint from me to all of you. I'm not a doctor, please don't sue me, but I was shocked when I was a teenager and I was taking the Advil and Aleve over the counter and like 2 or 3 times a day, and they did my numbers. It was very scary when I had that done after a year. Ah, do not ever say that. Just smile and nod. Oh, hmm. I will show the video. Everyone should watch everyone. Oh, that's darling. That is very cute. It looks comfy too. It's winter, isn't it? I swear it's winter. Yep, hashtag it. Aww. I can't, I mean, then again, like I am covered in tattoos. The ones on my forearm are the ones I always want to remind myself what to be and what to do. All for that. Um, but what you said is so incredibly true. And I don't know if I could ever fall in love with my downs, but I do try to view them as a part of the process and not to hate them or myself too much. And like I've been telling my preteen daughter, don't treat yourself worse than you would treat your friend. So when you're starting to like, as I just went through a real down, this is my first day being out of bed for like, I think it's been 3 days. And so I start to get like really down on myself because I haven't been posting to the podcast. I haven't been taking care of the podcast for those days. I was in a haze and I start to really hate myself. And I was like, okay, I've got to take my own advice that I give my kid, which is if my friend was taken out by illness for a few days, I wouldn't berate her for not getting business stuff done. So it's this like, okay, I have to remember to be my own friend also. Like, yeah. Oh, I like that. I like the respecting the downs. You got to respect it. Like, it's a part of it. I always said getting out of life like perfectly pure, clean, it was never the point. You should be like Tokyo drifting into that spot with like the engine busted and the paint falling off. Like, should have some fun. Yeah, that's absolutely like a part of this podcast and why I started it is that yeah, it's okay. We're all good. I started this podcast just for that reason is that I don't think that people really understand what's going on with others all the time. And it's such an easy thing to make a quick snap judgment on what someone's life is like or why your coworker is sleeping at your desk or why is that healthy young person sitting down when there's someone who's older standing? Like there's a lot that can be going on in someone's life that you might not be privy to. So instead of snapping to a judgment and making someone's life miserable by like taking a photo or a video of it and putting it up online and hashtagging it and shaming them, find out first. Like, have a discussion. Ask someone if you're really concerned why they're doing this, a kind and nice discussion on, hey, you look tired. I don't need to know what's going on, but do you need help? You seem to be sitting while this person is standing. Well, I'm sitting also. I'll just give that person the benefit of the doubt. I'll stand up so that person, the older person, can sit down. Or the person who is driven into a handicap spot but doesn't have a placard, you could go up and say, I see you're parking in this spot. Do you need some help with your groceries? You could always start with a positive attitude about it and always believe the best in someone, and you will have a better day. Like, you will always have a better day if you start out assuming the best in someone. How big can that smile? Like, I went full Joker there. All the teeth. Yeah, I always try to like think like I was a photographer for years, so my first thing is seeing what's beautiful in every person that walks past. I always like I really don't necessarily see flaws. I That was my job to see what was beautiful. So every person that walks past, I'm like, my God, that's like the most beautiful silver hair I've ever seen. Or, wow, that person has an amazing smile. And then if I start to go negative, I start thinking of like, what do I wish for that person for today? Like, I do this a lot when I'm driving, not when I'm driving, but when others are driving, and like, car gets cut off. It's like, okay, well, it was my first reaction is to go full New Yorker. I was trained to drive by a New Yorker. So I can go through every swear word in one breath, dropping all the R's. I can just go right through it. But I try, and this is a practice. I fail often, but I do try to think, okay, I hope they're getting where they're going, because they're obviously needed somewhere. So I hope they're safe. Like, I try really hard to like turn it when I see myself going ragey. Like, I do this a lot with my kids and my pets when they are like stepping on my cape while I'm trying to save everyone and do everything right. And they're like, no, I will make this harder. I try really hard to like turn it around and go, okay, I really hope you find compassion and empathy right now, because right now you're not showing any goddamn compassion or empathy. Yes. Yeah, so I try that. I try to turn it. That's a beautiful thing you were saying. I really think it's important that we all humanize, or I mean, I don't know the right word. Please forgive me. I'm like 5 seconds from screeching. But I think it's really important to show empathy and compassion for everyone who's here, even the people we drastically disagree with. It's important to you don't have the right to take someone's humanity or their right to empathy and compassion away. That's not your job. So there you go. That is our New Year's statement for the year. Right there. Yeah, kindness, compassion, go to wellacopia.com right now. So I'm going to have to say goodbye, but thank you so much for coming back to the podcast. You are welcome anytime, and you are absolutely welcome on the blog anytime. Please, for the love of God, I'm the only one doing content for the blog, so please send me your blog posts. I will push them out onto mine. But thank you everyone for being patient with us while we took a little bit of a break. As you've heard, I might need to take another break, so fingers crossed I'll come back. And never ever underestimate when you guys send me nice emails or nice things on our Facebook group, or on Instagram. You have no idea how much that means to me. There have been days I'm like, I don't think I can continue with this. It's too hard. It's too much for one person. But your little letters, they really get me to come back and do more. So please don't underestimate kind words. If you want to do something really kind and nice for the podcast, Apple Podcast is still the best place to go to write something embarrassingly nice, or even just really honest. I do read the comments and I do take them to heart. And if you want to share us, that is wonderful. Share us with your support group, share us with your friends and family. We really appreciate it. And I just want to do a quick thing here because I did one post and I don't think it got to this person, but we did get some very honest criticism, and I just want to put it out there. You do not have to agree with me to come on this podcast. There is no reason that I would not have you on just because you don't agree with my politics or my policies. I will happily discuss with you if you have a different viewpoint. I am really curious about other viewpoints. I am in a bubble. I live in the Bay Area and I barely get out of my house. I am in a bubble. If you have something outside the bubble that you want to talk to me about, I am very curious what everyone's lives are like and what things are going on with you. And if you have something that you would like to say respectfully, kindly, with an actual dialogue, I'm in. Please, you know who you are, who wrote the comment. I would love to chat with you. You are very eloquent and you have some very interesting ideas. I don't agree with them, but I would like to hear from you, and I would like to see if maybe I might have the wrong idea about what's going on. So thank you so much, everyone. Be kind, be gentle, and be a badass. I know I certainly going to try to do that today, and hopefully we'll talk soon. Have a great week.